What's up, everybody? How's everybody doing? Very quickly, as this fight approaches, Wilder, Ortiz, I wanted to talk about Deontay Wilder's PED use and how he's gotten a complete pass for it, right? Now, as you all know, I think all PEDs, drugs, whatever, should just be legal, period, in the sport. Unless, obviously, you got the situation like in the Philippines where a drug literally makes you want to harm people, right? Obviously, that's a different story. But the overwhelming majority of drugs, PEDs, are not like that. And as long as you're not hurting anybody, except maybe yourself, it's your human right to do that, okay? It just is. So I'm all for PED use. And I don't see fighters lobbying to have PED testing. Anytime any fighter is asked, they don't want to do it. So that's that. But anyway, Deontay Wilder was caught the second time now, twice already, by Alabama police with marijuana in his car and weed smoke in his car while he was driving by himself, right? So he was smoking weed in his car. That's a fact. Okay, none of this, it was my friend's weed, blah, 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 blah. Okay, nobody's this dumb. No need to be dishonest. We all know nobody leaves their weed in their friend's car. And if they do, as soon as the high comes down, they're on the phone saying, give me my weed back, right? Right. And then obviously there was the smoke with him by himself in his car with his weed. Let's not be stupid. Deontay Wilder smokes weed. And hey, more power to him. But weed is a banned substance, and it's a performance-enhancing drug, according to WADA. Now, I do know that WADA, they seem to think they have the authority, I don't know who gave it to them, to say what drugs are PEDs and what drugs aren't. But fuck all that, because what the WBC says supersedes anything that WADA has to say. And seeing as the WBC have a history of suspending people for smoking weed, like Julio Cesar Chavez Jr., well, they once again gave one of their favorite fighters a pass for using PEDs, namely Deontay Wilder, right? Once again, we see the inconsistency as far as the WBC, because they suspended Chavez Jr. and fined him at the same time for testing positive for marijuana. And according to their own protocol, you don't have to fail a test for a drug in order to be sanctioned for PED use. As long as there's ample evidence that you're using, that's enough. And ample evidence to the WBC is so little as, even as little as somebody snitching you out. Okay, go read the protocol. So they gave Deontay Wilder a complete pass, and all of you who attacked Povetkin for using illegal, no prescription needed, heart medication that has never been proved to be a PED, even though it never was proved that he actually used it once it became illegal. You guys attacked him. You said he wasn't shit. His whole career was called into question. Matter of fact, you took it as far, and Deontay Wilder did himself, as to stereotype an entire nation of people, right? You said that all Russian boxers are cheaters. Many of you did. The same people that are so quick to pull a race card whenever a black individual is questioned, or the same thing that I'm doing right now is done, right? We're talking about facts. Deontay Wilder's PED use, right? So we all know who the racists are. We don't need to get into that conversation. We all know who the racists are. And if you're still sitting there supporting the LDBC and giving props to the LDBC, hey, that says a lot about you, doesn't it? Doesn't it? Whether a cuck or a racist Negro, well, hell, you're a maggot either way. Ain't that right? Of course it is. So, not only does Deontay Wilder get a pass after this witch hunt he embarked on, testing everybody and getting people in trouble for shit that turns out to be nothing, right? Getting people sanctioned and fined and taking food off their table for nothing. He himself is a PED user and gets a pass for it. I mean, the hypocrisy is just astonishing. And if you don't think a weed is... First of all, you don't get to decide what a PED is. You just don't. And if you don't think it is, do some fucking research, because of course it is. But anyway, Deontay Wilder, just like Luis Neri, just like... What's that guy's name? Francisco Vargas. They all got passes for their PED use. Shout out to Michael Montero. While the Russian was attacked. Now explain to me how that had nothing to do with the man's nationality or race, when the people that came down on him the hardest seem to have, for them sure, have a racial double standard when it comes to this, right? And they're always the ones attacking whole groups of people based on the actions of individuals. They themselves do that, but yet are the first ones to pull the race card when you're merely talking about an individual who just happens to be black and a PED abuser like Deontay Wilder. So we all know what the deal is. We all see through the hypocrisy and the bullshit. And only really people who have a mental illness or are just really bad people still sit there and shout out to LDBC. Crab asses that they are. Right? Of course. Thank you for listening. I'm out.